What's up guys, I'm Tony Wodarck. I'm a photographer out of Southern California, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Hexar RF and the Leica M7. So these are both cameras that can use Leica M mount lenses, and I love both of them, but they both have their perks and disadvantages. So let's jump in. First up, I just want to say please like and subscribe, drop any comments or questions you have below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like any of this gear, check out the links below. Thanks to HOLDFAST, who always supports me. You can get a 15% off by using the code in the link below. Check out all the other links. You can shop all my favorite gear through the links in the description. Why do I have these cameras? Because I still have the Leica M6. The Leica M6 is my favorite camera of all time. It's really the only camera I want to shoot with. It doesn't solve all my professional needs, and so this is kind of where these two cameras come in. I got so obsessed over the last year and a half or so shooting the Leica M6 that I wanted something like that for weddings, and the M6 just wasn't cutting it for weddings. So specifically the M7, what I love about it is it's really close to the M6. It feels, looks, works almost exactly the same. The one benefit I would say to the M7 is it has auto as one of your shutters, and so it's basically aperture priority. You can shoot the entire time with just kind of choosing your aperture, and it will auto choose your shutter for you. So that was why I got this. It was in hopes of, you know, that would speed up one less setting that I have to figure out during the wedding day. The drawbacks to the M7, one, super expensive. Two, you have to wind and fire every frame. And so I don't mind that. I don't mind that part so much. But what I do mind is to rewind your roll, you have to pop that out and hand roll it. And when you're in kind of a fast-paced environment, your couple's waiting for you, you have limited amount of time, sitting there and spinning this thing around for 10 seconds while they're staring at you kind of sucks. So that was the drawback. And how you load, I'm not as fast as Matt Day, but you pull out the roll, drop it in. It's actually a pretty quick loading feature, but it takes two hands, then you pop that out. And so just all of that was a little bit slower than I liked, but I do love how this camera performs. I think if it had 1/4000th of a second, I'd probably just stay with this, but the winding is pretty slow. And I know they make the little things that can wind to the next frame, but I don't think that those actually rewind the entire roll. So that would be the drawback to the M7. What I do like is you can get these little screw-in diopters. I have a -1.8 in my eye that I use, and so I get these like little -1.5 or -2 magnifiers, and you screw that right in, and so it's to your eyesight. The viewfinder is super bright and really nice, and you can see the numbers and meter and all of that stuff inside, which is really nice. And the meters work pretty similar to the M6, which I'm really used to. So from all those standpoints, it's really nice. One last drawback is the M7 needs a battery. And so like I took this to the beach a couple weeks ago, got to the beach with my kids, got out, took 2 frames, and battery died. And then you can only shoot 1/125th or 1/60th with no battery in it. So you can still use it, but you can only shoot those 2 shutter speeds with no battery in it, which kind of sucks. Okay, the Hexar RF. I found this randomly on Fred Miranda and looked into it and was like, oh, this has a lot of features that I've been looking for. The main one being it shoots 1/4000th of a second, which was huge. That's, you know, much faster than 1/1000th of a second. It's got the aperture priority. It's got auto wind, so when you shoot a frame, it auto winds to the next frame, which is awesome. It auto rewinds your roll when you're finished. And then also a nice feature, which with Leicas you have a cloth curtain. This one is a mechanical curtain, or I don't know what you call it, but with Leicas you can't shoot into the sun or it can burn the cloth. You know, I'm never trying to shoot directly into the sun anyways, but even if some of the sun catches inside the lens, it can burn a hole in your cloth that works like a magnifying glass, kind of burning a hole in that cloth. With this, you know, you're not gonna have to worry about that. So I do shoot backlit a lot at weddings because I'm shooting midday bright sun, and so I'll put the sun to the couple's back. So it's nice not having to worry about that. It's nice having 1/4000th of a second. It's nice being able to fire a frame and I'm ready to shoot the next one immediately. And the auto rewind, like this is kind of all in all my favorite features. Then on top of that, it's a lot cheaper than the Leica. The Leica, you know, right now those are running $3,000 to $3,500 or so for that body, the Leica M7. And these you can find anywhere from maybe $600 to $1,000 or so. I paid on the higher end because this thing's in mint condition. But again, still a lot cheaper than 3,000 bucks for an M7. So you're gonna end up saving a bunch of money, being able to use my Leica glass, which is what I've, you know, invested in over the last last year or so, because I've really loved Leica glass. And so, yeah, this is kind of gonna be my go-to for weddings for 28, 35, or 50, you know, for those focal lengths. If I'm shooting a longer focal length than that, I'm gonna grab the Canon 1V and I'll use an 85. So I'm either gonna be shooting with this guy, autofocus, auto wind, Canon 1V 35mm film, or for wider stuff, I'm gonna be shooting with this. So yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't shot that many rolls with this, but you can check out the photos I have taken with it. I would say the only real drawback is where the information is inside the viewfinder, it's really off to the side. And so you kind of really got to kind of stick your eye in there and look off to the side to see the settings. Like I said, I'm going to be shooting aperture priority for the most part, so I don't really need to worry all that much about that. It is a little bit off to the side, which I think some people might like. I'm not a huge fan of. The viewfinder is really nice and big and bright, just like the Leica. So, and I haven't gotten much rangefinder patch flare, but I do believe this is going to flare out more than the M7, because the M7 has a special coating on it that I don't know if this does. But yeah, I would highly recommend checking out this camera. I know there's some other ones like the Bessa, and yeah, there's other cameras similar to this, but to me, that 1/4000th of a second for bright sun is just amazing. So you can't go wrong with either of these cameras, but for the price, this kind of met all my needs. So I'm super excited to be using this. I hope that video helped give you a little bit of explanation between the M7 and this Hexar RF. If you're just looking for a camera for fun and just want to shoot whatever you want, I would recommend the M6. That to me is my all-time favorite camera. It's like just so good and perfect. But yeah, this is kind of more similar, I feel like, to my Contax G2. The G2 had a few limitations that I didn't like. One of them being I didn't really know what I was focusing on. It's just an autofocus, but sometimes it would miss. And like I said, I like to shoot wide open a lot, and so I missed focus on maybe 1 or 2 frames out of 10. So I didn't really like that. So with this, it's kind of got all the body styling, you know, features of the Contax G2, and then allows you to manually focus, which I love with the rangefinder patch, which I really like. So yeah, I would highly recommend this. Check it out. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, please like and subscribe. Appreciate it.